The Colonel, not wanting to miss fate, decided to create an accidental meeting. She invited Eliza for afternoon tea, and even though Eliza didn't verbally respond, she couldn't help but join in when the Colonel waved. They arrived at a cafe oozing with romance. Could destiny be flexing its muscles here? Finally, destiny, in a merciful gesture, temporarily halted the Colonel's icy strides, and simultaneously, Eliza's heart started to beat vigorously. Eliza mentioned their encounter. They admired each other. The humorous Colonel amused her and was knowledgeable. She was always by Eliza's side, listening to her recite poetry, and oddly enough, Eliza saw John's shadow in the Colonel. On that breezy lake, the whirlpool of love was swirling quietly in their hearts. How could they resist? But good things don't last. The Colonel got deployment orders, and friendship in wartime tugs at the heartstrings. Meanwhile, John seemed to sense something. He jolted awake, opened his secret compartment, and was buried in a mountain of letters. He read through Eliza's letters carefully, happy for her chance encounter with the Colonel. But when he found out the Colonel was heading to the front lines, he panicked and started checking records. His heart sank seeing the Colonel's death on July 3rd. Tomorrow's tomorrow. John dashed out the door. He had to stop Eliza from sending that letter to the Colonel, but when he reached the post office, he discovered it was surrounded by raging flames. If he couldn't mail that letter, Eliza would surely receive terrible news. Without thinking twice, he dashed through the back door into the inferno, anxiously mailing the letter just as flames began to consume him. Eliza, blissfully unaware, was at the station kissing the Colonel goodbye when he suddenly turned back just as he was about to board the train. He turned back, and the train started to move slowly away. Yet the Colonel had to leave, walking into the golden rays, leaving Eliza to wallow in tears. Back home, Eliza had no time to rest. The Count showed up again, and she had to pretend to go along with her father's plans. John's letter arrived too, sending Eliza into a tailspin. She asked her servant to pack her bags, hoping to escape with the Count. No one knew where Eliza was headed so soon after returning. Her heart was set, and no one could stop her. She hurried to the station, but the train to the front lines was blocked, so she begged the driver for another ride. No one wanted to head out at this critical moment. Seeing Eliza's desperation, the hefty driver finally softened. He knew if he didn't help, no one else would step up tonight. The carriage raced through the night toward the front lines as dawn's light began to peek over the horizon. They finally reached their destination, but something was off. Eliza's heart felt like it was about to leap out of her, but she refused to give up. Scouring the area for John, only to find him blooded when they finally met again, it shattered her heart. In his final moments, he wanted to hear Eliza's poetry one last time. She wiped away his tears, and he closed his eyes forever. Eliza's love was just beginning, yet in the blink of an eye, she lost him forever, like losing another John. John was filled with guilt, wanting to comfort her but helpless. In his silence, Eliza resolved to burn all of his letters and poetry. Just then, an attentive maid noticed the letter that had fallen under the table and brought it over, and upon seeing the photo enclosed within, her heart immediately sank. The picture of John was that of the face she desperately tried to forget, but couldn't escape from. At that moment, John realized he had fallen for Eliza. He planned to confess, but his fiancée found their exchange letters absurd. Suddenly, the secret compartment rattled. It was Eliza's letter, the photo of them, with John shocked both. John looked at John's resemblance with disbelief. His fiancée couldn't handle the truth, and John couldn't keep hiding his feelings. Without love, their lives would be filled with pain. Despite his fiancée's tears, she ultimately chose to let. Later, when John once again visited the old house filled with memories, he unexpectedly found that the old lady had passed away. As he slowly stepped into Eliza's room, he suddenly sensed an inexplicable presence, as if she were still around. As he approached the vanity, he sensed Eliza was right there, as if they had just met after a long time. She was lost in a trance when the nurse broke it. In the box were Eliza's belongings. Reading letters and poems, John found she hadn't stopped writing and became a teacher. More importantly, she never married the Count and remained single for life. Intertwined in the papers was a faded photographs. Just moments ago, they felt each other's touch, yet now they were worlds apart. John arrived at the grave, laying down fresh flowers, only to find a paper buried beneath dirt. The paper was the last love letter Eliza wrote him. It said, "I will never forget." At that moment, John was overcome, deciding never to marry and forever cherish this love, when suddenly, the golden retriever bounded up to John, as if declaring him its master, while the real owner was calling for it futilely. Looking down, he realized the girl resembled young Eliza. She approached, inviting John for afternoon tea, just like a scene from In this whirlpool called love, the fiancé appeared to be the greatest sacrifice. When we can't fully love one person, we should choose to let go. After a brief pain, eternal happiness awaits. The film tells us, love doesn't need drama or grand vows. It may simply be a subtle encounter or an unsent love letter. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe.